There comes a moment, often in the stillness of early morning or when the world slows down just enough, that a quiet thought creeps in. How much life do I have left to live? Not out of fear, but from a place of deeper awareness. The kind that only arrives after you've been through a few storms, buried a few dreams, and built a life brick by brick. You realize time isn't endless, but it's not over either. And the way forward? Well, it's far more in your hands than most people think. That's what we're diving into today. 7 powerful truths about life after 70 that might just surprise you. Not because they're shocking, but because no one really talks about them. Not on TV, not in those chirpy magazine articles filled with 10 tips to stay young forever. And definitely not in doctors' offices. But these truths matter because they shape how you live, how you love, and how you leave a mark in this world. Let's begin with this. Your mindset is more powerful than your medication. No one's denying the role of modern medicine. It's extended lives and improved them. But here's the quiet truth. Your thoughts, your attitude, your internal script, they steer the ship more than most pills ever could. People who believe their life still has meaning tend to live longer and better. Not necessarily wrinkle-free or arthritis-free, but richer in purpose. And purpose is the one medicine that doesn't come with a child-proof cap. Next, understand this. Your pace is not your problem. It's your compass. After 70, society wants to put you in this slow lane, as if moving slower means doing less or being less. But there's wisdom in taking your time. Slowing down doesn't mean you're falling behind. It means you're finally living on your own terms. You're not rushing to meet deadlines or chase approval. You're walking through your life like someone who finally knows the terrain. And that's not a problem to fix. It's a gift to treasure. And here's another truth that doesn't get enough spotlight. You're allowed to rewrite your story. Just because you've lived 7 decades doesn't mean the plot is finished. You can still surprise people. You can still surprise yourself. You can leave toxic relationships, pick up new passions, start again. Reinventing yourself at 72 or 83 or 97 isn't cute. It's courageous. This chapter of your life isn't just an epilogue. It's part of the main story. The energy shift is real and yours to command. That brings us to this truth. Your energy isn't gone. It's just been misused. Somewhere along the way, you were taught to pour it into everyone else. Raising kids, managing homes, holding marriages together, maybe even keeping the peace when no one else would. And now, that same energy deserves to return to its rightful owner, you. After 70, energy isn't about how fast you move. It's about how well you spend it. You get to decide now what drains you. What fuels you? Who leaves you tired? What brings you peace? Let's make it interactive. In the comments, tell us. What's one habit or commitment you're ready to walk away from because it no longer serves you? Maybe it's over-apologizing. Maybe it's watching the news every night and going to bed angry. Maybe it's shrinking yourself to avoid conflict. Call it out. Say goodbye to it. You don't owe outdated habits anything, not even an explanation. And while we're here, let's get one thing straight. Movement isn't a punishment, it's a lifeline. We're not talking about training for a 5K, unless you want to. We're talking about moving with intention. Your body, no matter what it's been through, still craves flow. A short walk, gentle stretching, dancing while no one's watching, or better yet, while everyone is. Movement tells your mind, I'm still here, and I still matter. Here's a simple challenge. What's one kind of movement you'll commit to this week that brings joy, not judgment? Drop it in the comments. Inspire someone else. Spark a ripple. You see, you're not too old. You're just finally untethered from the nonsense that used to hold you back. And that's not aging. That's awakening. You can still choose joy, daily, deliberately. Defiantly, here's a truth that often gets whispered when it should be shouted. Joy doesn't expire. It doesn't have an age limit. It doesn't require everything in your life to be just right. In fact, some of the most joyful people you'll ever meet are the ones who've lost the most, but chose not to lose themselves. Now, choosing joy at this stage isn't always natural. It's not the blind kind you had in your 20s. It's deeper, wiser, hard-won. It's the kind of joy that walks beside grief, not in denial of it. The kind that says, yes, this chapter looks different, but I'm still here, and this heart still beats with hope. You don't have to feel joyful every moment, but you do get to decide, what can I smile about today on purpose? So let's turn the mirror gently toward the heart. In the comments, share one small thing that brought you joy this week. A flower blooming on your porch, a warm loaf of bread, a memory that found you at just the right time. These aren't small things. These are anchors. And when you name them, you help someone else see them too. And don't let anyone convince you that contentment means settling. You can be content and still crave more. More beauty, more peace, more laughter that makes you wheeze and cry at the same time. Wanting more doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you're alive. And being alive is still your sacred gift. So, what's one thing you still desire that makes your heart flutter just a bit? Tell us in the comments. You might just wake up a part of yourself that thought it had gone quiet. Because here's the truth. If you're still breathing, joy is still possible. And not just possible, it's your right. Boundaries aren't barriers. They're bridges to peace. Here's a truth that often goes unspoken. Even in this season of life, your boundaries matter. Not because you're trying to shut the world out, but because your well-being still deserves to be front and center. See, when we're younger, boundaries are often about protecting our time. But as we grow older, they're about protecting our peace. That might mean kindly stepping back from conversations that leave you feeling drained. It might mean carving out quiet moments in a house that's gotten busier, or gently expressing when you need rest instead of company. Even if that company comes with love and good intentions. Especially when you're being cared for by your children or loved ones. Boundaries can feel complicated, but they're not about creating distance. They're about creating understanding. It's okay to say, I appreciate everything you do, but I need a little space to recharge. It's okay to ask for quiet without guilt. And it's okay to protect your peace without feeling like you're being difficult. Because when you communicate your needs with calm and clarity, you're not causing problems, they're preventing them. Let's pause here and reflect. What's one boundary you've learned to honor better in this stage of life, or one you're ready to explore? Share it in the comments. Your wisdom might help someone else find their voice too. Remember, you're not being selfish for having needs. You're being wise enough to name them with love, not resistance. And that's not rebellion. That's resilience. Your legacy isn't what you leave behind. It's what you live right now. Here's the truth that wraps it all up. You're still shaping your legacy. With every word you speak, every hand you hold, every quiet decision you make. Too often, we treat legacy like a will or a family heirloom, something you leave behind when the story's over. But that's only part of it. Legacy isn't just what's carved into stone someday. It's what's carved into hearts today. It's the stories you tell, the laughter you spark, the wisdom you quietly pass on in the middle of making tea, or on a slow walk with someone who needs to hear what only you can say. You don't have to be famous. You don't need a foundation or a plaque or a look what I did speech. What you need is to live fully right now. Because the way you live your days, that's the shape your legacy takes. Whether you're planting seeds in a grandchild's heart, forgiving someone who never apologized, or simply choosing joy in a world that wants you bitter, that's legacy. Let's pause here and reflect one last time. Let us know in the comments. What will you choose to carry forward? And what will you finally lay down? Will you plant hope in someone who's lost their way? Will you say the hard thing that heals? Will you laugh louder, rest deeper, and walk softer through the time you have left? Because this moment, right here, it's not just the end of a video, it's the beginning of a decision. As this quote beautifully reminds us, we are not bound by time. We are freed by the way we choose to live within it. If something in this message stirred something in you, share a few words in the comments. Not just for us, but for someone else who might need to see it. And if this kind of reflection feels like home to you, I invite you to subscribe and stay with us on this path, where each day holds more meaning than we often realize. Thanks for sharing this moment with us. Take care of yourself and keep shaping something beautiful with every breath you take.